Good evening and welcome to Hearts and Heels. This is Yolanda Kelly with W on WVAS. And tonight we have in our studio our guest co-host is Judith Jackson, along with Patrick Peagler. But before we get started, we are celebrating a wonderful 37 years on the studio tonight with WVAS. We started here, our first show was back in June 15th, and so it's been 37 years of the celebration. We certainly want to say thank you for joining in and listening and being a partner of WVAS. And so tonight we're going to get started. We had talked about last week about being healthy and staying fit, and we had a dietitian in to teach us how to eat and what to eat. And she also brought us a lot of information about diabetes. And if you are on dialysis, she talked to us and told us about the different types. So we're going to continue this discussion in a different way because we all need to be fit. We're coming off this pandemic. And if you're like me, you've been eating everything. And so I gained a couple pounds and I'm trying to figure out how to work them out. So Patrick is here. He's our fitness coach. And Judith, my friend, thank you for coming on, Judith. So this is Judith Jackson. And so he said he will come on and help. I'm sorry, Shay is not in the studio tonight. So she's off again tonight. And so she's doing fine. So she's all right. Everything is fine. But she needed a break. And so we're going to give her a break. Okay. And so, Judith, thanks for coming. Can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm excited to be here tonight. It's just great being here with my girl Yolanda and with my boy here, Patrick. It's just so much love in this atmosphere, and if y'all can feel the love out there, you'll understand what I'm saying. But hopefully, y'all can feel it because there's much love in this room tonight. And so, just a little bit about myself. I'm from Wetumpka. I went to Alabama State. I graduated in 2009 with a psychology degree. Undergrad is criminal justice. I actually have a title here, 2006, 2007, on Mr. Student Support Service. So,
Yay.
yeah. So
That's
I got a
good.
little roots, and then I went on and furthered my education at Troy University. I finished with substance abuse counseling, and so I've been working with kids now for over maybe 11 years and something. And so it's just a lot that as we celebrate Juneteenth and as we are coming together to celebrate freedom, some of the kids as well as adults and all of us, we realize like it's so much going on that the question is asked, are we really free?
Oh.
Are we really free?
Now and you bring a good point about the celebration of Juneteenth
Hmm.
because it is coming up. Is it June 19th?
June
And are
19th.
you doing something downtown? You having a big event going on downtown? Can you let us know a little bit about that event?
Yeah, sure. So I want to invite everyone to this Saturday, if you don't have anything to do, this Saturday downtown Wetumpka, starting at 11 o'clock until 7 o'clock. We got a great lineup that is set up there. It's at the riverfront. So bring your lawn chairs, bring your family, your friends. We're going to celebrate Juneteenth there. We're going to have a great time. I mean, from live entertainment, music, DJ, food, we got vendors. Oh my God, we're going to have a good time.
So is this a free event, right?
It's free.
Oh,
So
so
come
if
out.
it's free, you gotta go. You
Yes,
gotta go. And
yes.
but we need to I want to make sure we talk about Juneteenth. I recently saw a commercial,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't know about Juneteenth until like maybe 3 years ago when I was in Wetumpka pastoring there.
Mhm.
And so, can you give us some information about Juneteenth, Patrick or Judith? Either one, you can speak on that for us.
Okay. Patrick, would you like to?
Well, yeah, when it comes to June 19th, the date, uh, for myself, probably about 4 years ago was when I really got introduced to it. And at first, I thought it was kind of like the Wakanda before the Black Panther. I'm like, okay, what's going on with all the colors and what's going on with this? And then I did my research and just looking into it, and I'm like, man, this is awesome that we have this celebration that's kind of untapped to and is not really promoted amongst the
Right.
Black community as a whole. And so the events that's leading around it's a lot of people coming together, like you said, that love, where it's no animosity. And when you see your fellow, person that you're not related to, you just, hey, that's family. We come from the same bloodline somewhere down the line, and we're appreciating that we're free. We're able to speak. We're able to get jobs. We're able to get education. We're able to thrive as Black people. So it's a positive event, positive time, and it's just a time for us to reflect on
Historically,
historical.
how did we come about this Juneteenth day? Let's talk about it, where it originated, the purpose of Juneteenth.
Hmm.
And so let's talk about the history. So it originated back in um,
1865.
1865,
Hmm.
and that was in Texas when Black people knew that they were free. So I wanted to make sure we articulate that out. And you made a comment. I think one of you, Patrick or Judith, said, we really don't know if we're free yet.
Yeah.
And so we've been operating. We celebrated 4th of July, Independence Day, that's going to be coming up really soon. But Juneteenth is a different type of celebration.
Absolutely.
It's not just a celebration, but it's a celebration for us being free as a culture. And so it's good that we're having and highlighting historical moments because weren't always educated on that. But we have. I just wanted to make you aware of Juneteenth. You'll see some commercials, and make sure that you come out and participate and be a part of what is going on in Wetumpka, Alabama. And so that's a free event that's coming up. Again, let us know the date, Judith.
It's June 19th, this Saturday, from 11 to 7. Also, we're gonna, I forgot to mention that at 10 o'clock, we have the Martin Luther King Museum that will be open for anybody that would like to come and view the facility. For those that want to just learn a little bit more history and our roots, they will have that open at 10 to 11 o'clock. So that's a good maybe a field trip, a family trip for just to get your family involved. Maybe if you want to bring some youth out from with your church, from your church, just to have a little trip so they can learn about the history and learn about the roots and why we are celebrating Juneteenth.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Listen, we're going to stay on this trip about being healthy. And what Judith did not tell me that Patrick was coming, but Patrick is his trainer. And so I think they're trying to give me a hint that I need some help. And so we're going to give an opportunity. Judith, if you want to, you can introduce Patrick however way you want to do it. But let's get it on.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Who sang that song? Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on. Let's get it on about this healthy. Because I can work out, but I like to eat. So my problem is not so much working out. My problem is eating smaller portions and proper dieting.
Right.
So, but yeah.
So I mean, where do I start? Okay, so I met Pat, which is my personal trainer, not just my personal trainer, but he's like my motivator. He's inspirational. Just long story short, back in 2014, I was diagnosed with lupus. During that time, I never heard of lupus affecting someone my age. And so I always heard, older people having lupus. And so I never knew that's what it was, but they diagnosed me with lupus and I had to learn how to walk again. I had kidney failure.
Let me stop you for 1 second. Now, lupus, it affects your white blood cells because white fight. And so you were having this battle with lupus and it was fighting. So it was almost would be like if you got sick, it took you longer to heal. Am I right about saying that?
Yes.
Because because I remember.
And it's an autoimmune disease.
Okay. So
It affects your whole organs. So just cutting off, we'll have to have another discussion about this.
But that's okay.
It was a journey for me because my life was at an end. The doctors was like, we're gonna send you home. So I was on the bed where my mom was actually having to feed me. Every morning, I remember she would have go and they would get Hardee's. She would feed me like a baby. And so but we'll come back.
Yeah, you fine.
Yeah, we'll have to do this another time so I can kind of give you that journey. But how I ended up meeting Pat through a frat brother. I ended up shout out to Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, all my alphas, you know, yes sir. We in here. So
And AKAs are in the building. If I say an AKA is in the building.
so
He's in for the training.
so I ended up talking to one of my frat brothers about the situation. And after I was going through this process of recovering, because it was a process. I didn't think I was gonna live through it. And make the long story short, I was talking to a frat brother, and he was like, you're gonna have to get out of this state. You're gonna have to get out of this state where you're gonna accept what the doctors are saying."
That's
So I'm like, okay, I have faith. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I trust God. But the Bible also talks about faith without works is dead.
that's right.
So although I had faith, I didn't have no works behind. I can believe God. So he said, "Well, I got this guy that can help you strengthen your joints, your bones, because when you're dealing with lupus, it's like arthritis through your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like your body's always in pain." And so I was like, "No, I don't know nothing about that. I guess I'm gonna accept it." But when he said it again, I kept hearing the word work. You gotta work. You gotta work. You gotta work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I met Pat. I called him and I was like, "Hey, I heard about your program, and I'm trying to figure out like, what's what." And I think after he told me about the information, I don't think I like took heed to it. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. So I end up coming, meeting Pat, and the information. This man is knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
He helped strengthen my joints with the workouts, not just the workouts, but allow me to stretch past how I felt. So I have done a 360 from my bones, my joints. I'm not on no medication.
Wow.
Through faith in God, God healing me, but also with work. I put in work. I'm putting in work with this guy. This guy here, I'm putting in work with him, and he's just have allowed me to know that the more you put in, the more you get out.
Mm.
And so it's like the Bible said, much is given, much
Much
is
is required.
required. So
Absolutely.
I mean, here I got my boy here, Pat, my personal trainer, my motivator, and I'm gonna get him to kind of like introduce himself and what he do because I know what he done for me. He's a blessing to me, and I think as we celebrate Juneteenth, I think like even though we as Black people we are free, for society wise, mentally we're like our own slaves. And so I had this thing in my mind like this sickness, this illness was going to
Take
overtake
you.
me.
And
Yeah,
he was the one to bring you back and will you back to health. And that's a good thing.
yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
thing
yeah,
to be a brother, to see a brother in need
yeah.
and to reach out.
Right.
Because I find a lot of times we can be going through and not reach out.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
so
But that's what we're here for. We as people, is we here to help each other, and I found strength in my brother.
Oh
I
yeah.
found strength in my brother.
Hearing your words and hearing what you said, it hits so home for me because I got into this business of personal training and motivating people because of my own testimony and my battle and my struggle. Because I was 300 pounds and I lost 100 pounds. I was struggling with high blood pressure and I was going down a bad path, alcoholism and things like that. And I was atheist at the time and I ended up changing my life around through God. And the only way I was able to do that is having that faith and asking for strength through God. So
mm,
in order for me to do that and for him to take me through that, I had to make a deal with him. And that was to, if you get me out of this and give me the strength, I make sure that I do right and I make sure that I walk in your path and I continue to motivate others and do others. And so I get inspiration from people like yourself, like Judith, because your testimony is so powerful because if any slight bit of me saying, man, you know what, I'm tired today. And when somebody like you reaches out that I went through something with a testimony like that, it makes me go, don't you dare think about quitting.
Don't you dare
You
quit.
go even more
Oh, that's
because
a word.
yeah, and so that's what motivates me, and that's why I love to see people like yourself when doctors tell them, "Hey, just go sit down. You got arthritis, or you got this issue, you got high blood pressure." I challenge doctors in a good way. Please bring issues that your doctor's telling you to quit, and I'll show you. Just let me know when your follow up is, and so you can see different results. So
But Pat, one of the things that I really like is that everything that we go through is not for us alone. So what you're saying is that in your weight loss journey, you found your strength, and in that strength, you were able to pull other people out.
right, because you'd be surprised even when you're going through your own journey. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who's looking at you from behind the scenes going, man, that guy's doing great work. He looks amazing. He's pushing forward. And I guarantee you, Judas, right now, somebody's looking at you at your job or somewhere that's looking at you going, man, this dude looks good. He works out. He's pushing. He has this. He has that. And you're going to inspire them.
Yeah.
And then they're going to inspire somebody else. And that's how we do it.
I'm already inspired. I'm already inspired. You have been listening to Hearts and Heels. This is Yolanda Kelly, and I have a special guest co-host tonight. Judith Jackson is with us, and also we have our friend here, our trainer. He is also a former director of sports medicine. He's from Greenville, Alabama, and that is Patrick Peagler. And so he's giving us information about his journey as weight loss and how he got into being a trainer. And so, listen, this is some good information. Not only that it's good information, but it's no good if you don't take the information and make it effective, make it come alive in you. So if you're struggling with weight loss or autoimmune disease or anything that's keeping you down, that's crippling you, and it could be your kryptonite, you can reach out to Patrick. Patrick, can we go ahead and give them your information, and then we're going to talk some more about that. Let's go ahead and give the listeners some information about how they could contact you.
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's Patrick Peagler, just like my government name, my regular name. On Instagram, it's Peags Works. That's Peags Works. And my website is peagswork.com. So you can reach out to me on any of those platforms. I'm not hard to find. And I love giving out information. I'm not a stranger. I'm not a hoarder of information. The more I can help people and inspire other people, it helps me. So,
Okay, so Judas came to you and he explained to you what was going on with his body. Let's talk about that. Let's
yes.
talk about what you saw and then that plan, that workout regimen that you had for him.
hmm
Can I say something real quick
Yeah.
before you? Um, I think when I first went to Pat,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to express where I was mentally because as a man, sometimes we don't know how to express. So it's like asking another man for advice. It was like, or having a male as a personal trainer. You like, I don't know if I need it. And I want people that's out there, males out there to understand, don't be too big that you're not in a place where you need help and don't ask for it.
Mm.
So when I went to Pat and I told him about my condition, I had to take my pride. I had to tuck it in, and sometimes in life you gotta tuck that pride in. You gotta take that, well, I don't need a helping hand, you know. And so when I went to Pat, it was in a place where I knew what I needed. I knew what I needed, but at first I'm like, I don't know, should I share this? Because sometimes sharing, um, everybody that experience things in life,
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they ought to keep it to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what God done for me
Mm-hmm.
is not for me to keep it to myself, but it's for me to endure it
Mm-hmm.
and to help others. And in this journey along the way, I had to pick up Pat to help me fulfill feel what God is doing in my life to help somebody else.
What I heard you saying, I like this,
Mm-hmm.
Judith. Pat said that he was an atheist.
Mm.
And for you, I know you're a crazy
Oh,
praise
I'm
and
going in.
worship
I'm going
leader.
in. I'm
You
going
are
in.
crazy with that.
Listen.
And so here this preacher
Yeah.
to come to meet this atheist. Now he
Mhm.
got bad.
Oh, I'm a
Yes.
believer in God now.
I know. I
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
you say
right,
that.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Well, I
right.
should correct my
Mhm.
vernacular when I
Mhm.
say that.
Yeah,
A once
yeah,
atheist, and
Mhm.
so you met Judas. Judas met you. Something had to change.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
had to happen with
yeah,
that meeting,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So what
Yeah.
happened?
I think it was a divine connection. I think it was a
Because
divine connection. When God has a purpose for your life, I think that He sets up people in your life for reasons.
I do too.
And I don't think like this was just oh, it just happened.
So Pat, were you an atheist when he came to you?
no, no, no,
Okay,
no.
you had changed by that
Yeah, that
time.
already
Okay,
changed.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that was prior to me changing my life around and getting into fitness and creating my own fitness brand and trying to inspire others to do with that. I was an atheist then.
Okay.
Uh,
How
but
long were you? How long have you been in this fitness sports?
since 2016 is when I really made the big change. But I've been in medicine, like my background, I'm a healthcare provider. I've been in medicine since I've been out of college back in 2013. And so I've been around athletics, I've been around the medical field, I've been around in the NFL, professional ranks, I've been around, got pretty good experience. But with that being said, I just, like you said, to touch on what you said earlier. So as I'm climbing professionally, personally, I'm at the worst I could be in my life,
Mhm.
going through a lot of stuff internally and people not know it. And we got to start talking more as a community, especially as black males,
Mhm.
to voice that and say, hey, man, I'm not where I need to be mentally. I need to invest in something that's going to help my mental health.
Right.
And we're talking about fitness. We're talking about Juneteenth and everything. It goes together. Everything is in a holistic approach. It's not
Mhm.
just working out. It's an investment that you're making in your body, whether it's health, massages, where it's, doing facials, doing stuff that's going to help your mental health. That's important for us.
And I'm like, you know what? Because a lot of guys think it's not manly
Mhm.
to get pedicures, manicures, and facial, but it's a holistic. You mentioned holistic
Mhm.
kind of thing. We need to take that time out to take care of our skin, our body, and I had somebody ask me, "Oh, your skin is so gorgeous," but my thing is, when I was in my 20s. Oh, I had pimples all over my, I was too old to be walking around with pimples in my face. And so it took work. And so for us ladies, it takes work. And for men, it's going to take the work. And you got to put your pride aside. We have people who are out there suffering from diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. And so all of these things, strokes, all of these things is what you're talking about, Patrick.
Mhm.
If you are just tuning in, we are having a discussion with a trainer, Patrick Peagler. He is a health coach and trainer, and I have a special guest tonight, my co-host Judith Jackson. And so we are talking about a holistic approach of being healthy, mentally and physically, and with our bodies. And so Patrick was just telling us a little bit about how he got started. He got started in the early, you said it was 19, what was it?
2016
2016.
is when I really made the change and really did my research. And that's the one thing when it comes to health and fitness is you got to do your research. And with anything, if you're getting ready to invest in the stock market, you got to do your research. Look at the stock, study it, know what you're getting into, have a game plan going into it. And whatever that game plan is, ride it out. Don't get cold feet. And that's a lot of times what happens when I see with clients and people who are interested they're trying to have control of it. Well, I'll just start Monday. No, no, no. If you got the feeling right now, start right now. Don't wait until Monday because you're gonna have time to think about it, convince yourself to do otherwise. And so you got to do research. What type of food I need to eat, body types. If genetics plays a big part. You got to look into things like that and get the right information. And so that's why I'm proud of Judas coming to me in a humble way, saying, "Hey, man, I got this issue going on." And he mentioned, he said, mentally, I need your help.
Right.
It,
Yeah,
it wasn't like
yeah.
one of the feels. He's like, no, mentally, I
Yes.
need your help.
Yes.
What
And
was that mental block? What was it?
Oh my God. See, and y'all hear something that I was gonna touch on. I think the decisions that we make is a choice. Um, Mentally, breaking that box, it was my choice. And every decision that we make, like for us, if you want to eat healthy, you want to live healthy, you want to be free mentally, physically, whatever is a choice. And so many times we blame other people um, for the journey that we take, and we don't take responsibility of ourselves and say, you know what, I could have did it this way. I'm because when I was in that situation where I couldn't walk, I was blaming, I was beating myself up. Long as I let it stuck in my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna get from this place. But the Bible speaks about so a man thinketh, so is he.
Mhm.
So once my mind started changing, now mind you, I have a counselor background, and I know these things.
Mhm.
But the thing is it's hard sometimes when you going through it versus talking to somebody else, but you still have to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
And I had to get that in my mind, like I'm gonna live through this. So no matter what in life that our listeners out there are going through, you can live through it. Lupus, there's no cure for it.
Mhm.
There's no cure for lupus, but I shall live because that's in my mind. I won't allow it in its generation. My my aunt, she died from it. I got another aunt that battles with it,
Mhm.
but I choose to break the generation curse.
Mhm.
So that's why I brought Pat here, along with this journey, because I know I can't live alone. People say, you can live alone. I beg the difference. You can't live in this world alone. God have people and places to help you along the way.
Mhm.
And so I'm so glad to meet you, Yolanda Kelly, here on this radio station, 90.7. We are in here. We are in here.
Yes,
We are in here to
yes.
motivate y'all out there. Like, this is what's going on. Yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. You're gonna be faced with things, but you can live through it. And we're here just to inspire and motivate as we celebrate Juneteenth
Yes.
and as we celebrate us as people. That no matter what you face with, get it in your mind, get it in your heart, get it in your soul, whatever it is, and you gotta. I think too, you gotta separate yourself from people that's not going where you're going. I want to hit there too, if that's okay.
Yes.
I want to hit
Yes.
there
Really.
because sometimes people would doubt. When I went through that season that I went for years with lupus, I had people coming, teammates coming that had already counted me out. I had family members that had already said I had passed away. Um, they was already prepared
And then they
for.
put other lies out there too. That's not
Absolutely.
has nothing to do
Oh,
with
people
what
could
you're
do that.
going
Yeah,
through. Yeah.
absolutely,
So
absolutely. And that's the thing where you gotta have a level head. You gotta stay focused because and then you have to make sure that you have a positive mindset and be around people that are motivated. So shout out to my mom, um, my motivator. Shout out to my dad, my sisters, my brother, my aunts, my family. I mean, I have a strong family. So you got to have a support system. You got to have some people around you that is going to be able to um, see sometimes past what you feel.
Right. And just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, and I tell my family this all the time, especially my mom, she has this tendency of saying they a lot.
Mhm.
And I say, keep they out of this.
Yeah.
If you can't put
Yeah.
a name on it and tell me who it is, then you probably don't need to be around that person because people say, they say 2 drinks a day can do this. Who is they? If your life is centered around you saying they, that's a very broad statement, and there's no
Yeah.
you didn't do the work. So when you get to the point where you're saying, "Hey, I studied this, and I learned this from this person," it'll change. You'll see your circle will change because you're getting away from the gossip and the broad stuff. You're doing your homework. You're doing your work.
So how did you break the fade challenge? Because you suffered with being overweight. So tell me, how did you break that day challenge? Because they said it's in your genes. They said you
Right.
go. I already know how they do it. So they said it was in your genes. Now, so how did you break the day challenge? Tell them they a lie.
Well, you just looking at that. I just really think about like, who is they? Like every time somebody says, who is they? I need to keep them out of this unless they are ready to come in here and put the work.
Right.
Keep them out of it. But for me, it was deeper. It was really, scratching the surface. Any kind of deep cut or any type of bruise, it heals from the bottom up. And a scar may come on the top, but it's a missing piece in that sore. And so for me, it's just scratching that surface and going, okay, why do I do what I do? Why do I have this tendency of running from certain things, running from adversity? Why am I, that type of person? And when you really look into it, you see that it's generational. It's stuff that goes way back to your great grandparents and the reason why you do stuff. Now, you can look at it and look at the negative and say, man, that's how I am. That's crappy. I don't like it. Or you can say, you know what? God gave me that for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that in a positive sense. So that's how I kind of got out of that, is saying all the things that I've deemed as negative in my family, I'm going to use that as a positive.
So first you had to go through a mental,
Yes.
getting over that mental anxiety of what people expected of you or what they thought of you. And then you began your own weight loss journey by saying, I'm going to cut back on portions or I'm going to start working out. What was that first
It
step?
was, okay, I'm dissecting everything.
Okay.
Why do I drink alcohol? Okay.
Because alcohol put a lot of weight on you too.
Right,
So,
but
liquor.
when you get down to the
beer.
nucleus
Bud
and the
Light,
source,
Bud
why am I drinking this?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so if I'm using it to cope and I don't feel the need to be vulnerable around people, then that's why I'm using it. And if I can figure out a way to use that without using that, then I just figured the solution out. So I did that with everything. Okay, why do I eat so much? Well, am I bored? So I gotta do something to fill my time. So it's just breaking everything down to why do you do something, figuring out the source, and that's how you get out of situations like that. You gotta be going into it looking for the solution.
So it's a mental thing. And you said something earlier and you kind of stepped on my toes when you were like, today, you start today. Stop saying I'm gonna wait until Monday. I have a personal trainer as well. Well, hey, I don't know if I still do. But I was going, I'm gonna come and see you. Y'all, you know how long that call has been? Like 2 years. I'm still calling the man. Say, I'm gonna come and see you. But I know it's a mental thing. And I have some sisters in my circle who are much larger than I am, and they could work out. They can outwork me. I'm like barely can run and barely can breathe. So you're saying, and we need to get this. Both of you, Judith and Pat, has said it's a mental thing. We got to get past that mental block. Why are we eating so many portions? Why are we just eating? Why are we drinking? Why are we doing what we do and not taking better, making better health choices, knowing our family history? Knowing the dynamics, because if your parents or someone in your family have suffered from heart disease, most likely you may suffer from it too. And if your parents or someone in your family have had a stroke, that's why they asked you for your family history, most likely you would have that as well. And so we first got to get to the mind.
Right. The education is big. I mean, my grandmother passed away from a stroke. She had a stroke and they didn't get her to the hospital until 2 days later because they didn't recognize the signs and symptoms of a stroke. Now, I'm in medicine. Now I'm educated, so I can talk to the family and say, hey, these are the signs and symptoms of a stroke. This is how you perform CPR. This is how you protect your family. Most of CPR situations happen around your family and your loved ones, close ones, not around people that you don't know. So it's the education piece so that you can help to promote your family or advance your family. It's almost like you're taking tiers of learning more information over time. And so as you get information, you got to share it with the family to build a family up.
How do we start that journey when somebody comes to you? Just say, for instance, I come to you Monday.
Okay.
And I said, Pat, thanks for coming and being on the show, but I really need some help. What is the evaluation process like?
Okay.
What is that evaluation?
Well, I'm going to talk to you and just to get a feel for what your goal is. Because once I get your goal, I know what I can do. Because I'm not the type of person that's going to really try to force you to go against something that you mentally prepared yourself for. Or you say, I'm not doing this. It's kind of like I'm going to listen to you. If you say, oh, I lost weight before, I had a good experience with a trainer, I did this, that's positive. So I know you can do it. Now I got to figure out, I got to come through another way to get to you. But you got to have a goal. And once I know your goal, then it's game on and it's grind time. And I'm going to put you in situations to win. And my workouts, I switch them up. You know, a lot of times people get tired of doing the same thing every day, every other day. It's like, no, when you come in, it's almost like an athlete. I treat my clients like athletes. I bring the inner athlete. I'm going to push you and motivate you to where it is a literally like you doing a workout as an athlete.
Um,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I may come back, not this month, but
Listen,
next
listen.
month.
I know firsthand. I know firsthand. I mean, and he's so right about he allow you to set your goals.
So what do you, I mean, like, what you mean setting goals? Like what I'm gonna eat?
What you want to do?
What you want to do? Like for me, dealing with a form of lupus that I had, I
Mhm.
went from 215 to 167. Lost a lot of weight,
Mhm.
and so once I build um my my weight back to like how I wanted to tone. So I don't want to lose weight and I want to gain in weight. I just want to
Muscle.
maintain and I want to, you know,
Right.
tone
Mhm.
and build
You
my
want muscle?
muscles. Yeah.
Mhm.
So when I told him that, that's what we've been working on. And, you know, it's a journey and I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
Do you have to
And
drink certain stuff and all that, like the protein shake, and do you put us
not
on
with
a
his
diet
workouts.
plan?
Not with his work.
I'll make it easier for you. It's not a challenge where you gotta say, I gotta go cold turkey on everything. It's gradual steps. Okay, if you drink 10 sodas a week, and we cut that down to 5, then we cut it down to 3, then we get rid of the sodas. Okay, what's something else that we know that's preventing you from advancing? If it's something that I don't think is gonna really stop your gains, by all means, go ahead, do it. But eventually, you're gonna stop those things that you know are deteriorating your body or going against what you need to do. And so it's kind of a thing, it's a team thing. You know, I listen to you. I'm not the trainer saying, hey, like I said, no, this is what we're doing. No, no, no. I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to you. When you say, hey man, I was feeling better. You know, my joints ain't popping as much, or you know, my range of motion is better. I'm gonna listen to you. Go, okay, all right.
Any healthy substance supplements that we need to know about?
Uh,
Now, when I worked out, I did fish oil, so that helped with my joints.
so let's just break the word supplement down.
Okay.
To use a supplement, that means you're adding to. It's additional. It's giving you superpowers in a sense. So a lot of people are deficient in stuff. They're not getting nutrients, and then they try to take a supplement where you're not actually putting an advancement. You're actually just barely reaching the minimum because you're lacking. So you got to do your part on the front end to make sure you're getting whatever that is to get the baseline. Then you supplement it with extra so that you can get, advancements in your gains with anything. So if you're the person that you're not eating a lot of fish, you're not eating no omega threes, well, you can take those fish oils because that's omega threes. It's good for brain function to help you with that. You know, a lot of people avoid fat. They think fat is a bad thing. There's healthy fat, and you need that to think right. And to actually lose weight, you need the fat. So a lot of people be consuming the wrong foods and staying away from certain things, and they need it. And their body's talking to them. So if you're craving ice cream, you're probably craving fat. You're craving something, their body's going to talk to you. It's going to tell you what it's needing.
I always crave pork. Is that a problem?
Well, you're craving a protein, and you may be the body type that you do better with protein.
Yeah.
So it's just
I can just eat meat. I
yep.
don't have to have sweets and bread.
Oh, I
And
gotta
so
have
I don't have to have those, and I don't have to have a soda, but I do have to, like, if nothing else, I'm gonna eat meat and spinach. Like I like,
Oh, that's a good thing.
yeah.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
But then sometimes I go over there to that part, and I know I'm not supposed to be eating it. So that's a good point, because supplements help. And you said that we got to know, if you're craving for certain things, then that's something that you're missing in that in your diet.
Right.
What are some supplements? Do you make any recommendations to supplements that we should take?
Well, yeah. The one thing you really want to tap into is your immune system, because working out is stressful. And if you're on a diet and you're stressed out, oh, I'm on a diet, I got to change my diet. That gives people anxiety. So if you're stressed out and you're not sleeping well, or you're kind of going through little withdrawals because you can't have those little Debbie cakes, or whatever you want, your immune system could be compressed, depressed. So it's like taking your vitamin C, making sure that you're getting the right source of vitamin C because there's people out there making vitamin C that's not really vitamin C.
Wow.
Make sure you're taking the right supplement. It's easy to make supplements and sell supplements. Vitamin C, vitamin D. You get vitamin D from the sunlight, from sunlight. So a lot of people who play sports and do things inside, if your job requires you to be inside in the dark all the time, well, you probably need to go outside on your lunch break. You need to make sure that you're walking outside in the sun to get your vitamin D because you're going to be more depressed. Your immune system is going to be down. I mean, you go to areas like Portland out west where it's darker, they lead the country in depression for a reason. If you travel out there, you'd be like, man, there's no sun. It's so depressed out here. I said that. I said, man, it's depressing. They said, yeah, they lead the country in suicide in Portland. And I'm just like, you can tell. It's a whole energy thing. It gives you energy. So your vitamin C, your vitamin D, uh, your calcium, and if you have issues, deficiencies, if you women, you're different. You have a lot of hormones that men don't have to deal with. But if you get your labs checked, that's something I recommend. Getting labs, get yearly labs. Let the doctors tell you what your blood type looks like, what your blood looks like, because you could be deficient in iron. A lot of times that happens with females during menstrual cycles. You get low in iron because of that process. So an iron supplement.
Then you get tired.
Yes.
Yeah. Because
Right.
it's like, I don't feel like working out today.
Right.
So what about if I have a glass of wine and I come and work out? Is that? I'm just asking.
My thing is,
Like,
what is the glass of wine for? Is it to help
and
give
to
you
help me
energy?
get through get through the reps. I need some help. Now I do the protein shake before I come with a glass of wine. I mean, is that too many?
You create a bomb or something.
I got a question for you. Just having your own business and you're big on health. Do you ever get picked on by your family? By just say you're going to a cookout. Like my family, we barbecue. We got ribs here. We got all types of macaroni and cheese, and you know, one of our family members come up and say, "You want some macaroni and cheese?" and you ain't eating macaroni and cheese. Oh, it's a
You
pick
trying to be
on. You
funny?
trying to be funny? Oh,
You
you don't
trying to
want
be
this?
bougie?
Yeah, yeah. Cause somebody cooked it. They make it seem like you don't want to eat it cause somebody
That's
cooked
our
it.
love language, though.
So like, do you ever experience that with your family, knowing like, because how else as black people, we don't care if it don't taste good, we got some salt somewhere, some seasoned salt,
Some
we
hot
got
sauce.
everything,
Yes.
So our food is not as healthy as it should be.
Right.
So do you ever encounter that with your family, not eating certain things at family functions and things like that?
Well, when I first started off,
And how do you handle it? Yeah.
when I first started off, that was a big thing. I mean, they take offense to it.
Yeah.
I've had people say like, "Why you ain't eating?" Like I had an auntie sober up from drinking because she was like, Why aren't you eating this food?" I'm like, "I have goals. I don't want that. Like I've already eaten early in the day on my time. I'm good." And she just would not let it go. I've been on trips with teams where I've packed my own food in a full cooler and put it underneath the bus. The team is like, "Oh, you carrying your bills and stuff like that."
Bougie.
Yeah, but we get down the road traveling, and I'm eating on the bus my own food, and they're starving. So initially, you're gonna get it's kind of like bullying. The person that's really talking to you like that, they really want to do what you're doing, but they're trying to deter you from doing it. And so I had to learn that no, just stay the course, do what you want to do, because those same people will come to you asking for help. I go speak to kids, I go speak to people. When I speak to kids and I'm talking about stuff, it's the kids that are looking away are the ones that come up to me after and they have questions. It's not the ones that are looking engaged, and usually that's the same thing with family. The ones that are saying, "Man, come on, man, you can have a drink, you can have all that." Those are the same ones that came up to me when it was just me and them. "Hey, man, I struggle with alcoholism. I've been wanting to get off of alcohol. How'd you do it?" And I'm just like, if we can come together and just be humble and say, "Hey, man, this is a problem. Can you help?"
Yeah.
We'll be better off.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, if you have just joined us, this is Yolanda Kelly with Hearts and Heels on WVAS. And so we have in our studio tonight, Shay is off tonight, and we have a guest co host, which is Judith Jackson. And we're having a conversation right now with our trainer, well, I'm going to include him to be my trainer too. With Patrick Peagler, and he's an entrepreneur. He is also a health coach and trainer. So he has a lot of knowledge and wisdom about a holistic, whole body, whole wellness, because it comes through your mind first. That you have to be able to perceive and think where you want to be. You got to be able to set those goals. And he's talking about goal setting, setting goals for what do you want to do. So if you're saying that you want to lose weight, you cannot be eating that pork chop sandwich and macaroni and cheese. You can't do that. And so if you're going to lose weight, there are some mental things that you got to figure out what is it that you want to do. And so I want to ask Pat. So I'm going to come in, and I'm like Judas as well. I want to lose a little weight, but tone. I want some muscle. And I've been watching those girls, and they got the big booties and all that. And so I was just told I would never have that. So I'm just a small frame person. I would never have it. But tell me, how can I tone? And I was told eat peanut butter. So I eat peanut butter, but I haven't seen any change. Now I've gained weight, and it's been a struggle for me to lose because I want to be a perfect certain size. You won't know. Not on air, you won't know. I want to be this certain size, right? Like when I was in high school. But and I think I can get that way. But and I don't think I eat bad. I think that I need to be trained one mentally. So what would you tell a person like me walking in the door, and I'm telling you, I have no health history issues that I know of. I want to lose 10 pounds, but I want to tone. I want to I want to tone and look like Judas over here.
Well, the biggest thing is the education and teaching you what movements you need to do and what they feel like. Because the gym scares a lot of people. It's a lot of machinery, there's a lot of stuff going on. And a lot of clients I get, they tell me I don't like going to gyms. I get anxiety.
I don't
They have 10 machines in one area that's saying they do the same thing. So why is it 10 different machines if it's one muscle? So I can train somebody in a phone booth with no weights, with body weight, if you're doing it right. So I'm gonna make sure that you're going down, going through the full range of motion. Because let's say, for instance, if I wanted to make my bicep bigger, if I do a curl and I don't go all the way down and I go back up, I never stretch the muscle out. In order for me to build it, I gotta stretch it all the way out and pull it all the way in. Same thing with squatting. People say, "Oh, I want to lose my stomach. I want to have nice legs." If you don't squat all the way down to cut those muscles on and come back up, you're not gonna build it. But a lot of people avoid those movements, and that's where I come in. I say, "Oh no, we got to get you bending. We got to get you moving because all the other stuff will play out. It'll play itself out. Your body's gonna look how it needs to look at the end of the day whenever we correct that."
Let me see what I can do. I mean, I'm good at working out and I can build that muscle, but I think that there's some other things that I need to go, work at. Do you provide, and I'm segueing over to, do you provide services to seniors? Because I feel like that's a lot of an outlet for seniors. And I remember being in Atlanta, and a friend of mine was having a workout session. The guy was doing it virtually. Do you provide any virtual services?
I try not to do much of the virtual stuff because I am a hands-on person. I can see. I look at you from the moment you walk through the door, and it comes to my health and my medicine background because I do rehab. So if someone they sprain their ankle on Monday, I'm watching them as they come through the door. Are they coming in with crutches? Or are they walking now 2 days later? So I have to have that observation. So I carry that over to my fitness world where I'm looking at people. If I see somebody 3 days later, you got a little pep to your step, you walk a little bit faster. I ain't gotta say you feeling better. I'm gonna say no. I see you feeling better. Let's go. Let's eat. And like so. But to answer your question about the elderly, a lot of my clients are 70 years old, 80 years old. They're doing pull-ups. They're doing squats. People who came to me saying they have arthritis and that they was avoiding squats. The doctor told them go sit down, be old. And I go, no, 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 no. Ben, we gonna be it. As long as you got that joint and you living, you gotta move those joints. It's like a door hinge. If I put a door stop in the door and then open it all the way, and left it there for 6 months, and then I try to take the doorstop off and open the door, it's gonna have rust on the hinge. That's arthritis. You gotta open that door all the way up, all the way closed to keep that joint moving and keep the fluid. And that's how I'm able to get those senior citizens, those elderly people, to doing squats, to running, to moving, to doing stuff, and not shutting it down.
You have them running?
All type of stuff. I got motivated by a 70-year-old, C.T. Fletcher. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
Google him. C.T. Fletcher is a bad man. He was a bodybuilder, big arms, and he had multiple heart surgeries. And this is around the time I was 300 pounds, and I was sitting watching his documentary on Netflix. And this man was just, he was on another level. He's 60, 70 years old, and he looked better than me. And he had multiple heart surgeries. The doctors told him, hey, you got this new heart, go sit down. If you go work out, it'll kill you.
Mm.
He made up in his mind that he would rather die doing what he's been doing his whole life and his passion than to go sit on the couch and die. And when that man said that, it just touched me and it motivated me. Same way like you telling your story, your testimony. I'm like, what am I complaining for?
Yeah.
Get up, man.
Yeah.
Like, and that helped started my motivational, my journey. And I'm still on it. It don't end. That's the thing. It don't end.
Yeah, I heard it was a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Until they close that casket, it never ends.
So we don't have to deny ourselves certain foods. We just have to limit that intake of certain food. So it's my favorite food. If it's pig feet or pig ears, it's okay for me to eat it, right?
Just know that if you have high blood pressure, it's full of sodium.
Oh,
And if it goes against you, what you want to do in life, if you want to live to be older,
I want to live to be older.
then you got to stay away from certain things. If not, if you want to kick it early,
So,
hey, dip it in vinegar, even more. It's your choice.
yeah, they say soaking in vinegar is better. But I got to really work on this, and I know it is definitely a mental health thing. It's mentally challenging for me to get past some things that I pretty much eat a healthy diet, small portion size. Is it true? Let's talk about this because I've been wanting to ask somebody. So somebody was going, I'm trying to lose weight, and somebody said do the vinegar and the honey. You know what I'm talking about?
Apple cider vinegar,
And honey.
honey,
And what else I put in there? Lemon juice.
lemon juice.
So is that true?
It can help you if you're doing all the rest of the things.
What is the rest of the thing?
So if you're eating right, your diet is healthy. You're getting sleep. If you're doing all the other stuff right, but if you're doing everything wrong, it's like you going to Pizza Hut, getting a large pizza, and then on a Diet Coke. It's kind of like, yeah, it's a Diet Coke with 0 calories, but you just got your calories over here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that mindset. You gotta throw the kitchen sink at it and do everything right to the point where you just say, I don't know if it worked or not. I just tried everything right that I knew. That's the mentality you got to have, and that's how I had it. And my clients, that's what I promote.
When you lost weight, how did you do it through surgery or did you do it naturally?
Naturally.
Sometimes people need a little help.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, ain't that
Living
wrong?
like this.
If you need a little help, get you a little help. But I just wanted to know.
No,
Tell us how you started.
It was natural. Like I said, I had tried all the get slim fast, the 7-day challenge, detox. I did everything. I've tried everything that you can try. My body had basically gotten to a point where it said, this ain't it. Until you do it like you're supposed to, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna do it. We had this battle, and I tried it. I was in a sauna suit in 100-degree weather, trying to lose weight, and I almost passed out in the heat. But I'm trying to lose water weight. I'm not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
And until I sat down and really looked at food and said, why do I eat? To nourish my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I shouldn't spend the majority of my day eating. That's not what was put on this earth for. If you take it back to the ancient days, we had to go get our food, put it on our back, and take it to where we were, and then we ate. We spend so much time eating that is what consumes us. Everything we do is centered around eating.
You're right.
And if you look at it in that sense and go, okay, that's not going to nourish my body, then you're starting to change the way you do things, because I know I need to get up. I have a passion to motivate people and live in a God way. And I can't do that if I eat church's chicken. It's going to make me go to sleep and lay on the couch. And now I can't go talk to the right person. it all makes sense to me. It has a purpose in my life, and I think that's the best way to do it. You got to have a purpose and a plan.
That's great. You just made me think about something too, just your transition from 300 pounds to where you are right now. And so my mind went to when you was just say you 300 pounds, just say that you know you want to talk to this female, and or just say high school, you be, and you got your eyes on this chick or whatnot, and now she, like, have you had that encounter where you had someone you want to talk to and they want to talk to you when you was 300 pounds and they see you now and then they trying to holler at you like, what up?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do though? Do you ignore them and say, "Now you want me now"?
Right. So I mean, I mean, are you attracted to them? I mean, knowing that they disown you or they rejected you then and then now since you that, because there are females now. I mean, it's like man cave situation. But
I'm talking about yes.
okay, like, is that motivates you to wanna keep going, or
That's definitely an internal motivation. I,
mm,
I remember all that type of stuff. So
okay.
even back in school, somebody, bullied me or something was going on, I keep all that stuff and I use it as fuel. It's sick in a sense, but you have to be like that. You got to use those little nuggets because when you start doing it for so long, you be like, okay, but then you just think, man, they said I would never do this,
Mm,
Yeah.
or this was that. And so for me now, I use grace and I be humble. Nope, I don't want you now.
Really?
When I look at it like, okay, maybe I didn't have the confidence. Maybe it wasn't even about the
That's
300
right.
pounds. It was the confidence. And I'm
That's right.
glad that I got the confidence now because now I can go find the right woman
yeah.
that's
That's gonna
right
know
for
you
me.
for who you for the
Right,
heart.
right.
The heart. Okay, we in hearts and the
Yeah.
heels. We got the heart. We looking for the heels. What they at?
But I am on the market.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to be on Hearts and Heels tonight? You on the market?
And
You
we,
get to
we
get to.
both on the market on display.
What we gonna do right now is tell folks how to find you so they can learn how to work out and lose weight and live right.
Right.
So tell the listeners how can they find Pat Peagler. Let's talk about give out your information again so people could be able to come and find you.
Yeah, so on Facebook, it's Patrick Peagler. On Instagram, it's Peags Work. That's Peag is work. And then my website is peagswork.com. But Facebook, I'm on there. I'm very active on Facebook. I've gotten away from social media over the past couple of years because I'm too busy training folks. So, but Facebook, I'm on there. You can hit me on the messenger, and I respond typically in a responsive time. But yeah, just reach out.
Are your fees reasonable? Don't be you charge
Yes,
by the hour or by the week or by the day. Well, how do you? It's pretty reasonable.
it's reasonable. But my thing is, if you're willing to invest in something, there's no price tag on
You're right. Because I like to invest in nice jewelry. So again, I just want to say thank you, Patrick, for coming on and bringing wisdom and shedding some light about staying healthy. And you talked about mentally that we have to be mentally ready in order to go on a healthy journey. And you spoke of numerous things. One is proper dieting, um, knowing who you are. What are your goals? So you got to set some goals. And so I also thank you, Judith.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and being my friend, showing me that you're my friend. And so, Judith, you know you can sing if you want to end this a little bit or just
No,
yes,
no,
Judith with a little hum.
no. What we're gonna do? We're gonna invite the people out this Saturday.
That's right. That's
This
what you do.
Saturday, downtown Wetumpka, from 11 to 7. I'll be the host there of all the events and all the activities that we got going on.
The
Just a little
location.
lineup is Coosa River. Um, it's at the riverfront where they usually do the fireworks
Okay.
July 4th, but on the same location right downtown. You won't be able to miss it.
What
Once you
time?
pass Dairy Queen, you go on down a little bit, it's going to be to the left out there in the park from 11 o'clock. Again, 10 o'clock, they're going to open up the museum, Martin Luther King Museum. So you can go and just go in and view the facility and get some history. And then we're gonna start 11 from 11 to 12. We have praise and worship, and from 1 to 1:30 we have a guest speaker. And then we have a talent show. We have a live band. I think all be all. And then we have some local talents that's gonna come to the talent show.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have a good time. Vendors and barbecue
It's
and
all
everything.
free. So
Yes,
that
everything
sounds
free.
really good. That sounds really good. So listen, you can follow us, Hearts and Heels on Hearts and Heels One on Facebook and also on Instagram, and that's Hearts and Heels, HEELS on Instagram, Hearts and Heels One on Instagram. So be sure you go and follow us, like us on Facebook. Remember, meet us next week on Thursday, same time, same place. Remember, whatever you do it with all your heart. And if you ain't got your heart in it, put your heel on it. Have a good night.